What is up, you guys, and welcome to the very first episode of the Walk with Faith podcast. So with that being said, that this is the very first episode, this is definitely going to be very introduction based and like introduction style. I really won't have any content to talk about. I'm just going to let you guys know a little bit about who I am, where I'm from, why I'm making this podcast, how I even got the idea, what is going to be happening with this podcast, and a little bit about when the episodes will actually be dropping. Alright, so just to start off, who even am I, for those of you that don't know and are listening to this? So my name is Faith Curry. I'm currently a freshman at the University of Louisville. I am studying business administration with a minor in marketing. And I'm actually not from here, so I'm from southern Indiana, like the Poseyville area. So I actually graduated from North Posey, so go Vikings! Alright, so the question that you guys are probably dying to have answered right now is, how did you even come up with this idea? Like, why are you making a podcast? Like, what the heck? So I actually currently have a project in my English class, and we were told that we needed to find a problem within the world that was going on, and we had to solve it on our own, which we could do this on a small scale, on a large scale, whatever was something that seems very practical. And she said that we could write a paper, we could make a podcast, we could make a video, we could do anything like creative. And I was like, I really don't want to write another paper. Why don't I just make a podcast? Like, that would be so fun. It would be so easy. And I was thinking about it and I was like, why don't I just actually make a podcast? Like, continue to post episodes and actually create my own podcast. Like, that would be so fun. And another thing that kind of drove me to do that is like, I have like started so many new like hobbies and things this year, and it's so fun for me. So like this summer, I actually started a photography business at flicks.byfaith on Instagram if you wanted to go follow. A little shameless plug there. But it has honestly been so much fun, and I've met so many couples and so many different people, and they've just shared their love with me, and it has honestly been so fun. And here lately, we've been able to do more creative things. Like, actually, my last couple shoot, they like brought their Bibles and were able to do cute little things with that, and I loved it so much. Like, it was honestly so fun. So with that being said, I was like, I might as well just go ahead and make a podcast. Like, that'd be so fun. It's something that I'm interested in, and honestly, I would love it. So you're like, okay, what is the podcast even? What are the episodes going to be about? Like, what's happening? So the podcast is definitely going to be a Christian talk based type of podcast. I think that I will actually be posting for you guys to actually ask questions or just kind of request different things that you want to hear be talked about on the podcast, because I think that'd be so fun, actually being able to hear what you guys want to be talked about on here. With that being said as well, I am definitely by no means a biblical scholar. So these are just my interpretations of the Bible and the readings and things that I personally have been through as a Christian. Definitely not 100% going to be like, oh, this has to be what you do in this situation or things like that. It's just kind of my opinion and sharing what I believe on this podcast. Also, with that being said, I am going to have a bunch of different people on here talking to this podcast. Like, you guys are actually going to be able to come talk on this podcast, which I think will be so fun. I posted on my Instagram, my Snapchat not that long ago, and asked if any of you guys would want to come talk, and I already have such a long list. It's so crazy. Right now, I actually have 12 of you guys that have actually wanted to come talk, which is like, oh my gosh, that's so many. I'm so overwhelmed and very thankful that you guys slid up and wanted to be able to talk on the podcast. With that, also, I was thinking about having maybe a few fun, just like different episodes every now and then. So one of the creative ideas right now is talking about being like in the life of a student athlete. So if you guys didn't know, I actually was on the Louisville women's rowing team here, but I did decide to quit just because I needed to dive more deep into my faith. I needed to be able to have more time to do those things. I needed to have more time to do my schoolwork, and I feel like I just got kind of lost, but that's enough about that. That will be an episode in the future that you guys can definitely tune into and listen about. And I believe I've talked to a couple of the rugby boys here, and they have said they're interested in talking on the podcast. So I think maybe incorporating them, and that would be super fun as well. And also my roommate, her name's Abigail Waters. She also has talked about wanting to be on the podcast, and she as well was also on the rowing team with me. So we can both definitely speak to the struggles of being a D1 athlete. But yeah, that's definitely enough about that. So now you're probably thinking, what is your English project even about? Like, what is your first podcast, actual content-based episode going to be about? So that episode will be about demonic things in the music industry. So like song lyrics and music videos and performances. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about Doja Cat, Sam Smith, and Lil Nas X. Those are just a few of what I will be talking about. I think this was a really important topic to me that I thought could be talked about and how I can try to somewhat solve this issue. So I thought that would be super cool as well. And that episode will actually be dropping next week. So the week of December 3rd is when that will be dropping. I am hoping to either put it out on December the 8th, or I might drop it before. So what I'm thinking right now is to drop episodes on Fridays. So Walk with Faith Friday. I think that would be so fun, such a little ring to it. It won't necessarily be every single week, but maybe every other week, but definitely at least once a month. So definitely stay tuned. Keep looking up for new episodes that will be dropping. That does start to bring us to the end of today's podcast episode of Walk with Faith. And I'm just so excited to be able to share this project with you guys and just have some Christian talk, honestly. And actually, I didn't explain this yet, I'll explain it now, but the name Walk with Faith, so obviously, my name is Faith, and then walking with faith, as in like Christian faith, believing. So walking with me, walking with your faith, I thought that was a super cool name, and actually one of my friends came up with it. So I thought that name was super cool, and that's what we're going to stick with. But that does bring us to the end, and I hope you guys are starting to get a little bit excited for the new episodes to come out. So be on the lookout, because next week is whenever the first actual content-based episode will be put out. And the episode will be just a little bit different than what I will normally do, just because it is for class projects, so there is requirements within that. So it will be a little bit different, but I'm thinking about doing a part 2 the week after and actually dive deep into the whole entire topic. So just to wrap it up, I just wanted to say thank you guys for listening and stay tuned for next week's episode.